going to share the screen here. We'll just see if anyone else turns up. Yeah, I'm going to start now. So, welcome to the Soul Contract Decoded author webinar. I'm Nicolas David Ngan, the author of the book, which came out in 2013. And so the purpose of this webinar is just to share about the book and how it came about, and explain the principles of the soul contract reading work, and just to, you can ask questions about it, that sort of thing. So if any of you would like to come forward and just sort of, I'd like to know a little bit, if you're open to that, to tell me a little bit about your background and what brought you here, then I can pitch the webinar accordingly. If you'd like to speak, just send me a chat message. Just put on there video and I'll switch you on, or you can have a video off and just we can just switch your voice on, or you can just send me a chat message at the bottom. But it's really nice if it's more interactive, because this is a more discussion, this process here, so that I can give you a bit more background about what this is like. Okay, so let's start. So the book was, how did this work start? This work started back in 1990, when I was at the beginning of my spiritual journey, and I'm from New Zealand originally, and I had got to America. I'd got to Arizona for a workshop called The Carousel of Growth, run by a man called Frank Alper, who was the originator of this work. It's originally called the Numerology of Moses, or the Spiritual Numerology of Moses. And as part of that workshop, which was a week-long workshop, I actually went for a Numerology of Moses reading. And I walked into this room with Frank, and he pulled out a Star of David here, and he proceeded to take my birth certificate name. He basically, I'll show you actually, this is soul contract software. He basically did this. He took my name here, this is my birth name, and he matched these Hebrew numbers, which go to different letters in the English name, and then he placed them around the Star of David here. He analyzed it, and he basically explained how my entire life worked from that point. And so that was the beginning of a spiritual journey. It's got me to this point here, and this is 27 years later, actually being one of the leading teachers of this work. So what he did is he explained that, I'll explain this from the beginning because I'm not sure how much, whether you've read the book or not. Basically, he explained that on the Star of David here, we can decode these Hebrew numbers, and because Hebrew numbers and letters are the same sign, they have the same energy and same symbol. So this is Hebrew letters matching the English sounds here. He basically explained that the large downward pointing triangle in the Star of David represents the physical side of life. It represented the formation of the personality of Nicolas David Ngan, and it's basically the formulation of my interface with the physical world. And then this large upward pointing spiritual triangle represents the spiritual aspect of my life. This represents the real reason why I'm here on earth. And my soul chose this name here based upon looking at all its past life experiences. And this name was an optimal set of vibrations that was programmed into me from the point of conception, and by the law of attraction would create each moment of my life. So this is like the attraction code, the soul contract work. It's like the code behind the law of attraction that creates each moment of your life. So what happened here was that in the physical triangle here, we have three aspects. We have karma, talents, and goals. And by karma, we mean a set of unresolved past life experiences the soul brings in, programs that into us to create what we call a negative context or karmic experience. So some of you may have noticed that you created a lot of things you didn't like in life, especially when you were younger. And those challenges are here for us to overcome. And normally we turn away from our karmic issues, our challenges, and avoid them. And that's what most people do. And when they do that, life becomes very hard, because the point of it is actually to turn into the karmic issue here. And because by the law of opposites, we get everything we don't like in life at first. So that by turning into it, we then can transmute that karma or those challenges layer by layer. And as we do that, what happens is that we transmute them into the positive gifts that we're here to deliver in our service on earth. So with this energy here, by turning into it and bringing consciousness to the program in our karma, we layer by layer can access our gifts, and the karma is transmuted and life gets easier. So how do we do that? We do that by taking our physical talents here, and we take these talents, and they're latent initially, and they infuse up into the karmic pattern here, the karmic aspect. And it's a good match in terms of power, relative power, quality of the numbers, and I guess relative consciousness of them. And how compatible are they? That actually transmutes the karmic pattern. And then as the talents get stronger, that helps us move towards achieving the physical goals here. And the physical goals are like the underlying drive we have in life, what it gets us out of bed in the morning. So what actually happens here is the energy flows from karma to talents to goals in the physical outer world. And then in the spiritual triangle here, it flows from spiritual karma to spiritual talents to spiritual goals, but with a more spiritual aspect. And so what's happening here, especially with the spiritual karma, this is the gateway to opening to specific higher consciousness gifts that we're here to deliver in our service here. So if we can open that up, then our mission can really happen. And the soul is hoping that, having established in the first 5 cycles of 7 years, or less, to 35 years, the predominance for the personality, the soul focuses it on developing the personality, developing a relationship to the outer world. And then between 35 and 42, the 7th cycle of 7 years, or younger, the soul then puts an emphasis on the upward pointing spiritual triangle, the real mission, and it's hoping that enough of the physical foundation has been established to enable the spiritual mission to start to be built on top of that. And if we consciously work through all these 6 aspects here, what happens is that we then achieve the soul destiny, the life purpose, why we've really come to earth. Something which very few people get to, even though it's one of the major questions in life. Well, what is the meaning of my life? And this is actually not really revealed until you've worked through enough of these 6 outer aspects. So some people don't get very far in life because they haven't got the conscious tools to actually first understand, let alone work through these outer aspects. Now in the system we have 22 Hebrew letters, and each of those Hebrew letters has a specific interpretation and meaning depending on which of these 6 aspects they appear in here. So we're going to explain how this works. So the way we decode my name, and the book talks all about this, I'm sort of giving you a summary of this, is that I take the first Hebrew number and I start at 14, I allocate it there, then I put the second one down here, which is the 10, then the 11, then the 6, then the 12, and then we go to the 1. So we keep going around the Star of David until we use up all the numbers. Then what we do is we add the numbers up. So for example, in physical talents, the total here is 11 plus 6 equals 17. So that becomes the left-hand aspect of physical talents, and it has a specific meaning. There's another number here, the right-hand aspect, and this is formed by simply going 1 plus 7 equals 8. And that comes up to here. And so that 8 pops in over here. So what happens here is that there is the physical talents are a pure 17, which has a certain meaning, and a pure 8, which has another meaning, and plus every blend in between, depending on the day, really. The soul could choose any point on this continuum to work with. All right. So that's how we get a combination, what we call combination letters here. In the case of, say, physical karma, the total is 30. And because we only have 22 letters, we need to reduce that to the first number between 1 and 22. So we simply go 3 plus 0 equals 3, which is the first 3 there. And because 3 can't be reduced anymore, 3 plus nothing gives us another 3, so we get another 3 over here. So what you have here on a 3 is you have a much narrower range of expression. In this case in karma, in lessons, whereas like 17A is a wider range of expression. And if anyone has any questions anytime, just put it on the chat, okay? And so what happens here is that it's saying, the soul's saying, I want to only work on the lessons, in this case, the negative expression, although it doesn't mean it's bad, the lessons of a pure 3 in physical karma. So that's why if you have a lot of these double numbers, like here I do, there's only very specific things you can experience in life. Whereas you have more of these combination numbers here, there's a wider range of expression to work through. All right. Welcome, Sabrina. So Sabrina, if you want to switch your video on like we did the other night, just type video in the chat and I'll promote you to panelist. Okay. So we work all the other numbers out accordingly here. And then what we do is we take the physical numbers here, the 3, 3, the 17, 8, and the 8, 8. We place them in the top half of the table here. What we're going to do now is we're going to calculate how do we get the soul destiny. Then we take the spiritual numbers here, place them on the bottom half of the table, and then try and spread. So this goes on the bottom half here, and then we add the numbers up. The total here is 63. We add this column up, and the total here is 36. So 6 plus 3, because it has to be less than 22, or 22 or less becomes a 9, and 3 plus 6 becomes a 9, and then the soul destiny is put in the middle, the 99 here. And then what happens is that we have all these squiggly symbols. These are channel symbols that Frank Harper brought through here. And these have very specific meanings, and they are like portals or gateways. They have specific meaning when we actually do this chart here. Okay. And so I'll explain my chart briefly, and there'll be an opportunity for you guys, if you'd like me to do your chart, I can actually explain the meaning of your life in the webinar if you want. So these three say here that I am here to overcome unworthiness, to teach the ancient wisdom of the soul. And this book was a outpouring of that wisdom. Here's a teacher and a leader. In the 17/8 here, this is all about expression, which is a symbol here, in society in a grounded way. That's what the symbol there means. We're trying to express this knowledge in a grounded way in society. And the 8 here in physical goals, this one here, is all about trying to be successful at reaching a lot of people in a very grounded, connected way with this work. And in the spiritual part of the chart, the spiritual karma here is my primary lesson is to overcome disempowerment, and to have a very difficult time as a child with my parents and in jobs, to overcome disempowerment, to learn about the proper use of power in this life, but ultimately to catalyze change in others through the positive use of this power. And this spiritual talent here, the 22/4, indicates it's about accessing higher consciousness source, blending mind, body, and soul, and sharing that flow, which is what those 4's about with the world, which is why I do these webinars and write these books. And the 4 here is about learning to trust in the flow, and again sharing the flow of knowledge to the world. And the soul destiny here, this is all about learning to become very conscious and learning to trust my inner intuition and channel, and to use that knowledge in service to become, to be overall a catalyst for awakening for people, which is why I wrote the book. Okay. All right. So back to the presentation here. Sabrina, are you okay just to, Janice, do you want to actually ask me that question out loud? It's a bit easier if you actually talk to me for a little bit of a conversation. Are you open to that? Because it makes it a lot more interesting for everybody and for the other people watching the YouTube video later. You don't have to if you don't want, but it'd be great to have a conversation with some of you guys. Don't be shy. You don't have to if you don't want. Because then we can get some to and fro going here. I'll promote you if that's okay, Janice. I'll just promote you to panelist, and then you say yes to a little box that comes up, and then it'll bring you over, then we can actually talk. Okay. Janice, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. You okay, Janice?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Yeah. So we can actually see the ceiling, I think, with your camera, if you want to.
Oh, sorry, I keep that kind of.
Yeah, it's much easier to have a conversation with us than sort of try and read the chat.
Keep off of it. There we go.
Okay, I can see you now. Cool.
Okay. Bad hair day. Sorry, been working out in the yard.
Okay, so do you want to ask me the question, Janice? Then we can get into a bit of a conversation about that.
Sure. So I guess I was wondering if the ratio of same numbers to different numbers is higher, that can theoretically mean a more difficult life because you don't have any wiggle room.
You mean the double numbers?
Double numbers, yes.
Yeah, the more double numbers you have, the less wiggle room you've got. It means going in a thick glass tube through life, you see all the goodies, but you can't reach him because you've been taken somewhere else.
Okay.
That's what that means. But it means it's something specific. It's neither good or bad. Okay.
It's just what I chose when I came in.
Yeah, it's just what you chose, and we all feel maybe we should have had another life, but that's just the way the soul chooses it, and we still got to work out how to deal with it, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I knew what I was doing, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but these 17/8 means you've got a bit more room here to maneuver. Okay. And I've definitely felt this. I've felt, it's a bit rigid here. There's only certain things I can do. And there's not much choice. There wasn't much choice that I needed to become a healer and a teacher and a writer. And just the way it was meant to be, really.
Well, you're good at it.
Thank you. So, let's have a look. What else is here? So, Felicia, do you want to actually ask me that question out loud? If you do, I'll bring you on so you can actually speak. That will be good. Then we can have a bit of a conversation about symbols. You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, I'm going to just say yes to the little window that comes up, then I'll be able to talk to you. Okay. Hi, Felicia. Let me just get your, you can speak now. Should be able to hear you. Try now.
Just inquiring about the symbols.
Yeah.
The icon, and just where they came from, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So where are you, Felicia? Are you in England?
I'm in London.
London, yeah. Are you down the road from
Yeah.
you? Okay. So the symbols were channeled through Frank Alpa from Spirit, and they're like portals. And when you look at them, they actually transmit the true meaning of the number. So for a trained practitioner, it'll give you the information, or if you're quite sensitive, you actually feel the energy coming off them. Okay. And so they basically, in themselves, they contain all the knowledge of each number, just as they are. So when I look at the chart here, I mean, I can do some of your charts a little bit later. I will just look at the symbols, and I'll just feel from the symbol, because it'll connect into your energy, and it will tell me what I need to know about you. It's like a gateway to the soul, really. That's what these are like. And there were 22 original symbols, but Frank decided he didn't like them. So this new set came through, which I actually like better as well. So on the book, for example, where's my book gone? On the book here, you can see that we put a whole bunch of symbols on the book here. So they actually transmit, for example, groundedness, the flow of knowledge, the expansion of knowledge, the flow of the divine feminine heart, communication, and this energy is about magnetizing people who are ready to read the book to it. So they're very powerful energy, portal energies that we use for attracting the right sort of people to the book, for example, and actually me being able to actually work out what a chart actually means. Does that help?
Yeah. I've this aspect of Reiki. I'm not a Reiki practitioner, but I've seen I saw a book way back, and it actually had, well, to some extent, one of these symbols within it. I was surprised, because I thought it was kind of not supposed to be revealed, but one of them looks very much like one of those symbols that are used in one of the Reiki systems.
Yeah.
Just saying that.
Yeah. These aren't Japanese or anything like that, these particular ones, but some symbols can repeat themselves in different systems. Like I've seen this one elsewhere as well. Okay. Patricia, do you want to have a chat about, you said I can take quite a lot of reading, that I can take quite a lot of your reading to myself. Do you want to say a little bit more about that? You can answer me on the chat there, if you want to. That's okay. Some things will be similar. So if anyone else has any other questions, just put it on the chat, or you guys who are talking to me, just sing out, because this presentation is based upon what you need actually to know about what's going on here. Okay, so about half the book, a third of the book, is spent explaining how to generate a chart like that. Although we have the software here, which we use, which you can get access to. It's called soulcontractreader.com. If you want to play with the software, you can get seven free charts out of it. Actually, 7. I think it's going down to 4 actually when it gets updated. So you can play with it yourself. But basically, the first third of the book explains how to generate that chart by hand. But the software is a much quicker way to do it and more accurate. Okay, and then the rest of the book is spent explaining how to interpret the chart and what the actual symbols, or what the actual numbers mean. So let's have a look here. Actually, I'm just going to zoom this out a little bit. Okay. So why has this system come about? Well, systems come about because we all come from Source ultimately, and Source had an out-breath of its energies, and it gradually created the dimensions. Think of this as the 12th dimension in this model, and it gradually breathed itself out all the way down to us in the 3rd dimension, this seemingly physical dimension. And the 4th dimension is the astral plane. It's a place you see in the Hollywood movies. When someone dies, the physical body dies, and they go through the tunnel of light up to the next dimension. So in this out-breath of Source, or all that is, or God in the spiritual sense, whatever you want to call it, what happens here is that we forget down here, when we're born, this is where we came from, because we have this veil of unconsciousness. Basically, we feel it. Did you guys, for example, Janice and or all of you actually, did you feel that when you were first here on Earth, that this is all he was, and but there was something that someone wasn't telling you? There's much more to it than this, but you couldn't quite figure it out. Was that the case, Janice?
Actually, I would wonder frequently if this was the dream. That's what I would. And when I found Course in Miracles and started kind of waking up, I went, this is the dream. Okay, it was kind of a relief. I still can't see past the veil, but I know.
Yeah. Well, the purpose of this work, which is to help us wake up here, to find out why we're actually here, what actually is programmed into our dream. What are we actually here meant to do or achieve? What are we here to become? Because it's the biggest question most humans ask. What's the meaning of my life? And very few people actually get the answer. And we're sort of brainwashed that's to accumulate assets and make money and get to the top of the salt mountain. Then everyone gets here and realizes that's not actually, that didn't work too well either. But
I'm hoping to break a lot of karma wheels so I don't have to do this stuff again next time around. So it'll just be a relaxing next life.
Yeah. Well, the purpose of this work is to actually understand what is your karma, and most importantly, the book tells you what do you do about it, so you don't have to go and do it again in the same way.
Yeah.
So the book is really a means, or the soul contract work is really a means, I'll just find my pen, of awakening to why you're here, what the challenges or karma are, is to overcome that, and how to get back home in consciousness by burning through consciously all these aspects in the soul contract. Because if you can consciously work through all these aspects here, all right, then what happens is you start to become aware of the soul destiny, the meaning of your life. Rather than sort of searching for it and having this urge to find it, you actually can start progressing towards that. And so each of these outer aspects is time along the bottom, and this is percentage work through. Over time you work through it, and most people might do a little bit of this really slow, but if you have this system, you can actually go through a lot quicker because you actually know what you're doing. You're not wasting your time doing things which don't work. And I mean, most people go in circles, and progress is quite slow. Have you had that experience, Janice? It's been a bit slow at times when you're younger?
Well, I don't know. I can't tell if I'm just on a really steep incline or if I am going in circles.
Yeah. So this is the map. This is the spiritual sat nav that gets you home.
Yeah. And that, yeah. Of course, I have to be a willing participant to want to work through these. And sometimes it's easier to say, oh, not today. I'll think about it tomorrow. Because I have read your book. The first time you did the show with Regina, I saw you, and so I followed you for a while. So I have an understanding, but there's that procrastination going on.
Okay.
Too.
Right.
I bet I'm not the first person to say that.
Do you want to find out why you're procrastinating?
Sure.
Okay, shall we do your chart? Do you like that?
Yeah. Yep.
We'll do your chart. How about that? So, software here. So we're just going to... so you're okay with this? Because this is going to be on YouTube. We won't put your birthday or anything like that in.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll put your current name in here.
Janice Palmer. Should I have my middle name in there? I didn't know, because that's my married name.
Yeah, we'll do your birth name down here. That's one that matters. So what's your birth name?
Janice Lynn, Lynnne.
Yep.
And then I'll spell the last name. D as in David.
Yep.
Okay. E-I.
Yep.
E as in boy. E-R-T as in Tom.
Okay.
That's it.
Put the birth name in here. We create a chart set ID. We'll leave your birth date out for.
Yeah, we don't need to show that.
Don't need to show that, and we'll put in the date. This is European here, so for you North Americans.
Well, I do genealogy, so I'm used to that format.
Click on that. We go chart,
Okay.
and we find out what your chart's about.
Yeah.
Here you are, Janice. Does that look familiar? These numbers?
Yeah. Yeah. I originally worked it out by hand the first time, but it was much nicer to print it.
Yeah. Oh, you play with the software, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your main question about your life, Janice? I can do a chat for each of you. We'll probably have a bit of time, actually, if you want. So
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What's the main question you have about your life at this moment?
What am I supposed to be when I grow up?
Can I ask how old you are now?
52.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely time to grow up. So.
Yeah. Well, I went through a big life change, lost my job and diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, just a lot of stuff all at once. And it just kind of set me back on my heels, and I'm like, oh boy, okay. Starting afresh. I'm just...
Okay.
So,
what's interesting with your chart, Janice, is that you've got all these 9s here.
Mm-hmm.
9 is the dragon.
Oh, nice.
It's like a big, powerful, one of those big, powerful black Harry Potter dragons. Except your dragon's in a cage and chained down. Does that sound familiar? And it's resisting breaking free and expressing its power and its roar and its flames.
Yeah.
This is the reason you want to do it tomorrow.
That'd be like a throat chakra thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, this is about, it's through your entire chart here. So when you were younger, did you have a lot of disempowering experiences, like a difficult time with your parents?
My mother and with my peers.
Yeah. Yeah, what happened, just sort of briefly, whatever you're prepared to share?
Bullied a lot in school, and my mom was just a difficult person to get along with.
Yeah.
Not just me, but on the other side, my dad was fantastic. So
yeah. So you're here to overcome that disempowering experience, that negative context, which is only created so you could overcome it.
Okay.
Right? There are no victims. The ego can feel like a victim, and it may want to play on that and get lots of energy from others from being a victim.
Yeah.
But actually, your job is to stand up and say it's enough and start to claim power. So how's that been going? You've had a bit of time now to work on coming into your power.
Yeah, I actually have done that a little bit of recent with a family member who's been disempowering for me.
Yeah.
You know, just said I'm done. That was and nobody's changing my mind otherwise, kind of thing.
Does that feel good?
It does. It's nice to not have to worry about it anymore, because it was kind of just feels lighter. I don't know.
Yeah. You look relieved actually just talking about it.
Yeah. So,
That was going on a long time by the sounds of it?
yeah, I think it was a sister who was older than I.
Yeah.
By 13 years. So I think it was going on from when I was a toddler way up until just last year. So
yeah. So this is all about going from a place of feeling very disempowered, maybe feeling like a victim. There's nothing wrong with that. To become claiming sovereignty and coming into your power. So the soul, even though our karmic patterns make us squirm and they're quite challenging, it's only there to transmute and overcome. And the soul wants that visceral, emotional, cellular experience by being in a body, because when we're in a body, it's the most intense experience, which is why we come. Even though some of us will feel on a bad day, I wish I wasn't here, God.
yeah.
Get me out of here. It's the fastest learning experience you can have as a soul, which is why we come in. So you're wanting to go from feeling like a victim of your sister.
And she's just one of many,
Yeah, so it's progressively claiming your power back, but it's actually the journey of like that relief and standing in sovereignty and trusting yourself and having the courage to take that step like you did with your sister. That's actually why you've come. And having that journey of you as a spark of the divine having come back into power. So what you're actually doing, we're actually all sparks of the divine. Remember this diagram here. Just have to find my pen. It disappears a little bit. So I have to do a little squiggle. We're actually all sparks of the divine here. Like this diagram. We're all sparks of the divine who have forgotten who we were. You see? And where are you, Janice? Where do you live?
Just outside of Houston, Texas.
Okay, so some of the sparks landed in Houston. Felicia and I landed in London. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've been there. It's been a long time, but I was there once.
Just trying to remember who we are.
Yeah.
And so your spark of the divine is trying to get back to source and consciousness, and it's actually having an experience of learning about the power of God. What it is, it's expanding God's understanding, or Great Spirit's understanding of what is the power of God through the direct experience of overcoming the disempowerment with your sister and other people. And this is actually the process of creation in action. We are creation in action. It's not happening out there somewhere else, and God's some white bearded guy sitting on a throne in the heavens. This is creation in action. Your life, each one of us is a spark of the Creator. We just forgot, basically. The purpose of this work is to remember who we are and what particular aspect of experience we as a spark of the Creator are here to have to contribute to the greater experience of the Creator here. Okay, and this is all in a non-biblical sense. Okay, so yeah, this is all about coming into power, because you've got nines here and here and here. It's very, very strong. That's why it's been the primary dominant thing for you. So what was your job, Janice? So I'm trying to see what other background you have.
I was a nurse for 25, well, 30 years, I guess.
Yeah. Did you do any teaching as a nurse?
To my patients.
Yeah.
But not as a paid educator, no.
Yeah. Well, you're actually here to be.
I probably taught my office manager, whatever she's. I have a feeling we've danced this dance before. So.
Yeah, well, you're here to teach. See, 3 is an internal canal. I'll enlarge this guy.
Ah, okay.
3 is the internal canal. And the purpose of the 3 is to bring deep ancient wisdom out into the world.
You know what I love to teach people about?
What's that?
Crystals and stones. That's
yeah. Oh, well, that's your thing. There's a particular passion that we have. If you've got a 3 that you want to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
But did you feel shy as a child to actually express yourself?
Yes, I was shy as a child.
Yeah.
But I was a rock hound as a child as well. So,
Wow.
and my first rock tumbler at age 5. So.
Oh, you're a professional very early.
No, just a serious amateur.
Yeah. So here, the disempowerment here creates the feeling in the ego of the inner child of being unworthy. So all this disempowerment happened very early on. So a little plug of unworthiness forms here. So your job is to get that plug of unworthiness out through self-healing and the actions you take in life to get to where you want, to bring out this ancient wisdom. So in terms of moving forward, you're actually here to really teach. Teach what you have a passion for. Okay. That's actually that's the mission. And as you come into more of your power, you're here to empower others through the process of your teaching.
Actually, I've witnessed that. So.
Yeah, how's that happened?
You know, it's really random how it happens. Just all of a sudden, like yesterday, I was actually at a rock shop, and the gal that was working behind the counter asked if she could help me, and I said no. And she said, "What are you looking for?" And I was making a crystal grid for a friend in Dallas who's moving into a new house. And he's going to lay it in the foundation of his house. So I thought, well, do I tell her what I'm doing? And I thought, oh, what the heck? Because sometimes people, give you kind of but she was really interested. And before I left, she said very quietly, "Can you recommend a good book for me to read?" And I was able to share that kind of stuff with her. So that's kind of how it happens. And it has happened quite a bit.
Okay, so you've got some clientele out there by the sounds of it. You've got people who you're here to connect to.
And they get on a path, and it's their path. But it all starts with rocks. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, well, this clearly is your way forward. So you're here to just by your presence, you're here to catalyze people to wake up and share the deep inner wisdom here. Okay. And do you like studying a lot, Janice? Do you like building up a body of knowledge? This is the living through. This is.
If you could see all my bookshelves, you would be. I do like to study.
Yeah. So you're here to take all that knowledge.
Okay.
Then discern what's true for you.
Mm-hmm.
You build your own unique structure of truth with that knowledge.
So that's what the 11-2 under spiritual talents.
Yep. You're here to build a body of knowledge, throw away the stuff you don't like, and the 2 is it's not a very good one. This is like an emotional spring.
Okay.
You're here to become emotionally resilient in supporting yourself and others as you share that knowledge.
Okay.
Okay. So you're a builder of knowledge, a physical builder of things, maybe. Do you like building physical things?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry?
You like building physical things?
Yeah, I'm the handyman in the house.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so building physical things as well, but I think primarily it's knowledge. Because you're an empowering teacher building knowledge. And now I've figured out why you don't want to do things straight away. You procrastinate, don't you? You procrastinate. Like you want to do it tomorrow, or not at all.
It's easier to just take a nap right now, or read a book.
Okay, so this is the 18. This is the reason that you don't do things straight away.
Okay.
The 18 is about coming from many different places of past lives, and you have to make a decision. Shall I follow the path of spiritual God or not? Okay. And the 9 goes with it, which is about needing to come into your power. Okay, so you need the power. You need to come into your power to have the ability to actually trust yourself on what is the right decision to do something. If you don't have enough power and you don't trust yourself enough, then you can become concerned about making a mistake and wanting to make the right decision. Is that what happens?
A lot of self-doubt. Would that be? Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
So as you come into more of your power, it's about making a decision with the best knowledge you have in the moment, and choosing to follow the path of spirit here. Okay. And so the more empowered you become, the easier it will be to make decisions, and easier it will be to complete things. Because the procrastination is, oh, I don't trust myself, I don't have the juice to complete it. So this is following the path of the ego, which is let's go and have a nap or something, take it easy, and not complete it. But you're here to complete tasks. It's called finality and solution, this number. So this is actually saying you're here to be like a project manager. You're here to take projects, carry them out to the end, make the hard decisions, and they're done. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You know, I've read all this, but the way you explain it, it's like, it's, I'm impressed. This really is spot on.
Yeah, so.
But it's, and I feel better because I have an understanding now that I didn't 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, it's always, you know, if you talk about it, it's always clearer.
Yeah.
So this applies to everyone, actually, the idea of following the path of spirit. It's what we call the spiritual signature. So this is probably the most important diagram I'm going to show you tonight. So if you follow the path of the ego, what the ego wants to do with all its endless demands, it's the path of suffering, as the Buddha said, which is the dotted line.
Yep.
If you become conscious of watching your soul contract, which is what the work is about, and you start to follow the flow where your soul really wants to go, what opens your heart the most, you start to converge here on what we call the spiritual signature, where in each moment there's one right action. And if you follow that one right action, life opens and flows. Okay? And the idea is to, as you understand more about your contract, is to converge with that knowledge, consciously converge on where you need to go. And it converges, when you get to this point here, life really opens and good stuff happens. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Patricia's put her hand up electronically here, so she wants to actually do her chart here. So you're next, Patricia. So maybe if you want to type your birth name in the chat here, Patricia, the birth certificate name, the full one, then I can just copy and paste it to the software in a little while. Okay. So if you follow the flow of your spirit, life opens and flows, and you live a completely different life. Okay. All right.
Can you waver between the two? Can you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. What happens is this: that on a good day, you might be. It's a bit like cooking. If you can cook intuitively, you just sort of know when to switch something on or off. It's the same way that you're doing with life. You've got a feeling that that's done now, and if you ignore it, it's overcooked. If you take it off just at the right time, it's perfect by the time it gets to the table. It's the same idea as that.
Okay.
Except it's with everything in life.
Right. Because I feel like I've been on that path, going where you're at right now, but
you're doing the wiggle, you see.
But more, yeah.
You might go a bit astray, and you come back, you see. So, and up here it doesn't work very well. But when you get back down to here, it does work really well.
Mm-hmm.
You see. So this is the purpose of life: is to learn to follow the spiritual signature. What feels right with the heart. It's no longer. See, in the West, we're very much taught to go with the left brain, think about it, analyze it, very scientific. But actually, by going to the right brain and going with the heart, and you're following this, what feels right, the opportunities in life, and you're following the flow, the natural energy, life opens and flows. Things start to happen. Good stuff starts to happen. Okay.
Can the desire for knowledge get in the way? Can that be part of a left brain? I'm not sure if I'm phrasing that right, but can the two get along well, or?
Well, your path is to acquire structural knowledge. It's just the talent you have. You just love building bodies of knowledge. It's just fun for you to build knowledge, isn't it?
So okay, because I've been told before that. Oh, well, I guess maybe I asked too many questions, I think is probably what I've been told. So, and that I'm in my head, in my mind, and I need to be in my heart. But, inquiring minds want to know.
They
So,
do. They do.
So it is okay to be in my head and
well, you're going to do a mixture.
That knowledge, but then hopefully filter it down to my heart. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're both left and right brain. Okay. So, but in this case, you're in the left brain because you're trying to build a structure of knowledge, put it in boxes, work out how it all works. And in Soul Destiny, the purpose of your life is to learn to speak the absolute truth of what you believe in. And that requires getting clear on, well, what is my truth out there in the world? And the 14 here is about reflected being. Are things very intense for you at times in your relationships, Janice?
Yeah. So, not lately, but yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, with children right now. So those are relationships, aren't they? Okay.
So you'll have a go at your chart too, full of show. Get time. Okay. So the intensity comes because other people are mirroring to you parts of yourself you haven't seen.
Ah, okay.
So the intensity.
Or maybe you haven't worked through.
What's that?
Or maybe I haven't worked through.
Yeah, the bits you need to work on and become aware of, people are mirroring it to you, whether you like it or not. And the intensity is there to get your attention so you learn.
Yeah. Okay.
It's about, I relate, therefore I am. Intense relationships are required to find out who you are. To finish off, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I just said that's way cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the other thing here is that I'll get to you in a minute, Sharon. She's got her hand up. The other thing here is that the 14.5 says you're actually here to be an author, Janice.
Really?
You're here to write books using this 3, the communication here.
Huh. Okay.
So you can. So Sharon, if you just want to become a panelist, then we can talk in a minute. Hi, Sharon. Basically, you're here to write from your direct life experience the truth of your life, and that's in books or articles or whatever. That's actually why you're really here. Have you thought about that before?
Well, maybe I'm glad I did good in English. That was one of my strong classes.
Good.
No, I haven't thought of that before. Well, I've thought about writing like a vocabulary, like a dictionary for spiritual terminology, because when people first kind of wake up, they don't know what manifesting is or chakras or anything like that. So kind of a user's guide to understanding what everybody around you is talking about. That's what I've thought about.
Yeah, well, there you go. So there's a writer in you see.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's an important thing to get into, I'd say.
Well, maybe I have worked a little bit on it and shared printouts with people. Maybe I'll put more effort into it.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, to finish off, you're here to come into your power.
Okay.
Trust your first inner gut instinct, 'cause that's right. Don't ask everyone else what you should do. Express the ancient wisdom of your soul that is a writer, and a communicator, and teacher. Keep building your body of knowledge here. Learn to trust yourself and make the right decisions. And speak the absolute truth. Do pioneering work. Okay?
Okay.
All right? And be a yourself. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Sharon, you had a question.
Nicholas, I'm so hoping that Can you hear me?
Yeah, do you want to bring the camera down? We can only see white. I can't actually see you.
Okay.
I'm going to mute everyone else because there's a bit of background noise.
I'm not sure how to do the camera thing.
Are you on a computer or a tablet?
Laptop.
Yeah, is there a camera? Camera should be in the top of the lid.
Okay. Oh, I just have a piece of tape over my camera too.
There you go. Just raise it up a little bit. Now I can see you. So where are you, Sharon?
So I'm hoping I'm just seem to. Sorry, I'll get emotional. I seem to just really be struggling all the time. I just went through surgery on my shoulder. I love your book.
I'm glad you liked it.
I'm just hoping to get some kind of clarity on where I'm going in my life purpose.
Okay, well, why don't we do that briefly now? Yeah. So
That would be awesome.
if you want to type your name in the chat, and I can copy it in there. Okay.
Yeah, you have to help me again here.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
There's a little speech bubble at the bottom. Just click on that, and we'll look at that.
First and last?
What's that?
First and last name?
Yeah, no, the name on your birth certificate, Sharon.
Oh, okay.
And we'll talk about that briefly.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So.
You can do my birth date.
Yeah, don't put the birth date in.
You want me to put it in?
No, don't put it in because this is going to be a public video, okay?
Okay.
On YouTube, so we need to maintain everyone's privacy.
Do you need my middle name for?
Yeah, I got your middle name. So,
Okay.
Patricia. Yeah, we could. You can book a reading another time. Hang on, let me just sit. Oh. So, Patricia, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Patricia had to go to another meeting. Okay, so this is that's the birth certificate name, isn't it? So, verbal date for today is the 17th. Okay. Go here. So what's your main question, Sharon?
I just always seem to, I've struggled financially all the time. I just never seem to be able to get something and hang on to it and finish it. And I do Reiki. I know that I'm supposed to be doing healing, but I just can't seem to, get to a place where I feel like I'm okay.
Okay. So what are you doing for work at the moment, Sharon? Just
Nothing right now. I'm on a disability pension.
okay. Just want to check something here. Something's not quite right. That didn't. Okay. Just need to adjust this name here.
Sure.
Just adjust that. Oh, okay. Here we go. Well, let's have a look. I'm going to do a more summary form of this. So you're here to learn to overcome past life fear of speaking the truth, Sharon. Speak the truth no matter what. You're very sensitive, aren't you?
Extremely.
Yeah. And you're here to... What sort of work did you used to do?
I've always worked in an office because I just had to keep a roof over my daughter and our head. It was just me and my daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, well, having a daughter here is you being the divine feminine, looking after others. So you're here to really bring a lot of love into the world. That's the main talent you have, and look after them.
That's a good thing.
And the 12-3 here is all about absorbing lots of knowledge and communicating it out to the world. But this 3 here is the reason why you have financial challenges, because it's a goal, so you're here to let to be worthy of love. Okay? So, did you have a difficult time with your father? Or have a lack of father? Or difficult time with men in general?
My father passed away when I was 9.
Yeah, so this is the loss of the father. Okay.
Had a huge impact.
Yeah. Yeah. So the key for you to sort out the financial side, okay, is to actually heal the wound with the loss of the father. Abandonment by, well, father represents the masculine aspect of God, really. Okay, that's what our parents represent. And if you can heal that and feel worthy of the masculine aspect of God's love, then the financial situation will improve. Okay, that's the key.
And I think that I'm just not sure, Nicholas, how to heal that.
Yeah, well, we can use. Have you had any healing work, or what have you done about that?
Sorry, what work?
Have you received any healing, emotional healing for that loss of your father?
I tend to. I think up until this point, I've always said, "I'm okay. I'm okay. I'll be okay. I can just carry on." I've had some healing.
But you haven't been, so.
Pardon?
But you haven't been, have you?
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I've had some healing work done, but it always feels like I get to a certain point and then I can't go any further with it. Or I don't get any further with it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you need to do some deep work on the loss of the father, I'd say. We do a thing of divine healing, which is based on asking you shall receive. I'll put a link to it on the email with the video of this. You can look at it later. You
Okay.
do very deep work on the loss of the father, then that will sort out a whole bunch of other stuff in your life. It'll sort out the financial side eventually. It will take some time. That's the key.
It seems like it's been so long.
Yeah.
But I guess if I haven't been doing any healing, and for that it wouldn't happen.
You got to work on it, else it won't change. You see,
Right.
Hoping for it to change is not going to work.
Right.
It's the program, the emotional feeling of the child feeling abandoned by the loss of the father. This is the masculine aspect of God. The loss of the masculine aspect of God triggers the unworthiness. You sort that out, and other things move forward. But you're actually here to expand knowledge. I'll put you on mute, Sharon, while we're speaking. We're getting some feedback from the speakers. So just switch the microphone on when you want to speak, okay? You're here actually to 19s are about bringing spiritual energies down to the earth plane, forming a space out of them, and for others to come into it to learn about and achieve their goals. And the 1 here is about disseminating of healing and knowledge into that space in that process. So have you been involved in setting up a center or have a desire to set up a center of some sort?
Yes, I mean, that's my dream. I can't think of anything else that I would rather do.
Okay, so sort out your issues with your dad, and then what will happen is that then you better manifest the money to create the center to carry out your dream. So this will be a challenge, though. There will be lots of obstacles in the way because it's in karma, but that's the purpose of this life, is to build a center. Is to have that spiritual center, okay?
Yeah.
And the 8s here are about, are you good with people, Sharon? Are you really good at relating to all sorts of people?
Yes.
Yeah.
People come up to me that, I can just be walking down the street in a city that I'm not from, and people will come to me and tell me their story, and I love people.
Yeah, so this is about being the emotional chameleon, and being able to relate to all sorts of people. Okay, so for those of you guys watching the video later, we're covering a lot of the numbers in these case studies, these demos here. So you better relate it to your charts, which you can find at soulcontractreader.com or generate free ones at soulcontractreader.com. And the 11-2 here is a building energy, just like Janice had. So you're here as a builder of knowledge and to share this knowledge at a high level in your center. So you're really here as a teacher, like Janice is a teacher. You're here, 4 is sharing knowledge, 3 is bringing knowledge from the deep within the soul. So you're here to be in that center teaching. That's the mission.
I actually have thought many, many times to take courses so that I can teach English as a second language to children or anybody. I just didn't, in order to travel, and yeah, I can see myself as a teacher.
Yeah, you're meant to be a teacher here. And you got the same 14-5 as Janice here, so there's a life's intense, isn't it, at times?
Life is
emotionally intense.
Oh. Extremely intense.
Yeah, so you find out who you are, but you're here to speak your truth, and you're here to do some sort of writing as well. Okay, so have as you develop your material, write it all down, because it could be a book in it or something like Janice was doing. There's some form of communication you're here to bring out in the world.
I often feel, even as emotional and sensitive as I am, it's very, very difficult for me to speak my truth. Sometimes I don't say things to people because even though it's the truth, I feel like, oh, I don't want to hurt them, and so I don't say it. Or if somebody hurts me, I don't say it, because I just feel like, oh, I'm being too sensitive, or...
Yeah, the key there is to overcome the past life fear of persecution for speaking the truth. Then it will all come out of you. Okay, that's the key.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Nicolas.
Does that give you some clarity there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Major clarity.
Okay.
And just sort of affirmed that I already feel.
Yeah, this is what this work is about. Okay. So, what else do I want to cover? Felicia, shall we do your name? Yeah, let me unmute you. Should we do your name?
Yeah. Okay. So I spell it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just put your comment. Where is it from? Your name originally?
It's Nigeria.
Okay. Were you born in Nigeria or born in the UK?
Born in UK.
Okay. Okay. So that's the current name. Have we got that right, Felicia?
Yeah. There's a middle name. Do you need that?
Yeah, I need that definitely.
Right.
So what's that?
It's O-L-A.
O-L-A, yep.
It's T-U-N-D-E.
T-U-N-D-E. How do you say that?
Olatunde or Olatunde.
So your parents were actually born in Nigeria?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Okay, so say it in Nigerian. You're Nigerian. Which tribe are you from? Because there's about 350 different dialects in Nigeria, or languages.
Right, well, Yoruba, mum is Yoruba.
Yeah.
Dad is a papa. So that I found out recently. Got a bit of a broken family to some extent, but Dad is from Apapa, a place called Apapa.
Okay. What I'm doing here is I'm going to get the right phonetic sound. So this sound like Olatunde. So
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Right.
It's like that phonetically, Olatunde.
Yeah.
Now, Felicia, to say that as your parents would have said it.
Felicia. So it's slightly different intonation.
It's Felicia. Have I got that right? Felicia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felicia. Okay. Now, Oshoko. Can you say that to me?
I got that one. I would just say Oshoko.
I think it says it's spelt. Or Shuka. We'll
It's
try
this
it.
is spelled, yeah.
We'll try it. Hang on. We meant to play with this a little bit to get this right because of the pronunciation. Because this is an English to Hebrew translation matrix we have here. So we have to convert it from Nigerian, whatever Nigerian language it is, into English, written English as it's pronounced, to be able to get this correct. So we'll see whether we get this right. Is the... Okay, let's go. See. Let's just see what happens here. So, have you had a very challenging life? For Lucia?
I have had, yeah, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to... How old are you now, can I ask?
55, 6, 56. No, 57, actually, yeah. I don't think about age too much, but yeah, 57.
And you, when you were younger, did you find it hard to find balance in life?
Yes.
Going to
kind
extremes on some things.
Say that again?
Going to extremes in terms of life experiences. Too much of one thing and not enough of another.
Yeah, I wasn't really, in my own family, so I was out in care, and they were, physically abusive, not all of them, but one particularly, and also like there was an issue around just keep moving a lot, so I didn't have any say. I'd just go from one to another. So that was challenging for any child.
Yeah. And did you find when you were younger, you wanted to hide your true self? You wanted to put out a facade so people wouldn't find out how you truly were?
I think I did that out of necessity as a sort of protection.
Yeah.
Especially like at school, because I'd suddenly be in a new situation that I didn't know I was going to be in within a matter of 3 days and so on. And sometimes the attitude that people had, I did sort of put up some sort of pretense, some act, some show to protect myself, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a mask, I suppose.
I think this is the right name. So what's the main question you have about your life, Felucia?
This is partly curiosity, really, the whole thing. Maybe relationships and career.
And how have relationships been going?
They kind of haven't, really.
Okay. Have you had difficulty committing?
Sorry?
Have you had difficulty committing to relationships?
I just kind of been busy doing career side, I think, and I think that's part of my answer. But just when you was asking those questions about what their questions are, I just suddenly thought, well, what's my question going to be about? And so I just thought those two things.
So tell me about career. What are you doing at the moment?
I work as a carer within the care industry, the formal care industry. On the psychological side, and I'm also trained as a counsellor, and I'm continuing to work on that side, and I do that voluntarily.
Okay. You're quite sensitive, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is the right chart. So you're here with the 7. This is the heart wounding you've had. Why were you in care? What happened to your parents?
I actually don't know. So it's a sort of mystery that I live with. I think I'm trying to surmise back that just my mum probably found it easier to not have children around, her children around. Just when she came to the UK, it was probably, she was very industrious in order to maybe survive and get on. But the long and short of it was she put us into care, and we don't know why. I don't know why, but I think it was convenience to some extent. So it's not a very typical mother-child relationship. That's a part of the weirdness that I went through in the early days, I guess.
Okay. So this is the broken heart from loss of the mother. Okay. So the inner child felt not good enough or bad, or rejected. And so this is why you put the facade up in the school thing as well, just so you could survive. Okay. And so the idea here is to heal the wounded heart, drop the facade, as you heal and open the heart, Felucia, to show your true feelings and thoughts out in the world. And that will magnetize you the opportunities in terms of career and relationships, of things which are resonant to you. Okay. Do you have a good network of friends, or you isolated, or somewhere in the middle?
No, no, a very good network of friends. Yeah, I've just come off a talk before I was on with you, where I was talking to some friends about how we're doing things and helping, just helping really. And I'm very close to them. But yeah, I have a very good network of friends. That's
Good.
one thing that's been happening recently over the past 5 years, I suppose. Really.
Yeah, that means the heart's healing. Then you see, because this is you in the middle, drawing a group of like-minded people to you. Okay, and then each has a different complementary role in the network. Okay, and as a whole, you're here to facilitate the whole into something greater than the individual parts. Okay, that's one thing you're here to do. Okay, and the fours here are about sharing the flow of knowledge. Do you find when you hear something good, you want to tell everyone else about it?
I tend to sooner or later or gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this 21 here is about enduring great hardship. And I'd say the hardship is not having your mother, your family around.
Yeah.
This is building great strength inside. Would you say you're strong now?
Yeah.
Being very strong. And the 3 is another 3. Third one tonight. You're here to become worthy of being loved. Okay.
Yeah. I just recognise. I think somebody wrote in the chat about synchronicity, and just to see other people were speaking, I'm just finding they're almost saying some of the words that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So, and like there's almost, we could be a team, we've got similar interests. I actually studied a few years ago to be an English teacher. I mean, at least I did the course. I didn't sort of end up being an English teacher, but yeah, there's some commonalities between even the people that signed in tonight, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I was in in a group, and the person that told me about this, they kind of said that when groups of people meet together, it's often not a coincidence, particularly if they're doing quite deep in the work. So it kind of ties up that we're meeting together. I mean, I don't know Sharon or Janice, but we've got similarities in our stories, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, like-minded people draw each other together. You'll see maybe the reason we all came together the way it is. So, you see, because you're the magnet, the heart magnet for people. So here, the 3 is about healing the unworthiness, and you're here to communicate and teach as well. Okay? And this 8 here indicates this is this amoeba. This 8 here is we're learning to arrive on Earth, form clear emotional boundaries. You had very challenging situations when you were younger to relate to all sorts of changing people, but to have clear boundaries with people, which you probably need to do in the care industry as well, have clear emotional boundaries so that you don't get absorbed in other people's issues. Okay? And then to learn to relate across that boundary to others, connect with them without getting over-involved in their issues. Okay? And in terms of relationships, what tends to happen, if I can ask, just so I can try and answer that question a bit more?
I don't know. I just feel, I don't know. I don't know, actually. I don't know what happens. I think I'm almost, it's about, actually, one of the things that happens is like not feeling a bit rootless. I don't know where to set down and settle down. And also like maybe some of my childhood stuff is still around culture and things that I haven't connected with that I feel I'd miss if I'm involved with somebody. That I might miss the other side that I've not quite connected with, and I feel I'd miss that whole thing of my Nigerian roots in that way. So it's something to do with cultural and tribe and things like that. That I don't know how that fits in, or haven't worked out how that fits in. So it just doesn't happen, or I don't happen. I don't, something along those lines.
Yeah, the 8 here is saying that you don't come to Earth very often. And so you're actually rootless at a soul level. So you actually need to find your tribe. You need to find your place on Earth. So do you have much to do with the Nigerian community?
Yes, in Australia, in a way, yes. A lot of us are carers in the health service, and so I have quite a fair contact with them, quite a lot of contact.
Yeah. Is there a close connection?
Not very, no, because it's quite industrious, it's quite demanding.
Yeah.
We respect each other, but it's kind of, yeah, it doesn't go any further than that. And I find that I'm more close to people. I got more in common with people on the counselling side because that's about dealing with truth as we perceive it and sharing that. So I find that talks to me and touches me, and I can potentially feel more connected on that side, and that might overcome other sides actually, because it's another level up in terms of your concentric circles. Perhaps that's a bit nearer to source because we're actually it's the dealing of shedding away of layers and masks and so on. So
Yeah.
Maybe that's a
So,
area.
well, counselling is a good place for you to be because you're very much into truth here, aren't you? This is fives, which is this little fetus-like symbol. Okay, so this is you can tell when someone's telling the truth, can't you, or not telling you the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whether it's worthy of hearing, whether it's got real source in it, or whether it's just flim flam.
Yeah. Well, this is what this is about. So, and the seven is about. You see, the seven's about trying to sense objectively, showing people their choices, like you do in counselling, so they can make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sevens are able to do that, be very objective for others, but you can't be objective for yourself. Okay, that's what the seven's like. And the other thing regarding relationships is that, I mean, have you got into a relationship with someone and discovered they weren't who you thought they were, or who you perceived they were?
I guess it did happen once, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a seven here because there's a broken heart you're healing. Okay, because you have to make a decision to show your real self, the real hidden, wounded part, which is a bit scared of being rejected again. When you start to show your real self and merge these two and become one person, when you know who you are, then you'll know who everyone else is. Okay, so what's going to happen here is that you're going to look at a woman, for example, and see her one way, but actually because you're split yourself, you're not actually seeing the truth of her, you're seeing the illusion. So you're living in what's called a dream. It's a dreamland filter. So what you got to do it applies to anyone actually. You've got to actually ask yourself: is it real? What's happening? And if it's not, that means you know the filter is running strongly. So always ask yourself: is it real with any new person? Is what they're saying and doing matching with what you're sensing? And if it's not, then you know the filter is running. Okay, something's not quite right. Because your filter may say one thing, but they're doing something else, which is actually the truth of what's going on. Okay, so if healing your heart means that you become one person, then you'll be able to perceive who someone really is, and then you decide, do I actually want to be in a relationship of any kind with them? Okay. And 5 is about speaking the truth. 12-3 is about finding balance. So in 12-3 down here, it's about expanding in the world in a balanced way. There'll be some obstacles. You had a few obstacles. It looks like you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's expanding in a balanced way, and then you can overcome the obstacles in life.
Mm-hmm.
But do you rush around a lot? Really busy?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's always a drive from the soul to expand, Felicia. So what you got to do is take the to-do list and prioritize it and cut it in half and do the bottom half tomorrow. And find the balance, find some stillness. Okay. But the soul's in a rush, right? But you got to smell the roses, basically. Not everything has to be done today. But the rush is here because the soul's trying to expand you at a personality level so that it can, you know, the next incarnation is ready to come in again and do some more. But you'll burn out otherwise if you go too fast, okay? Because you got 2 of them here. But you're definitely as a communicator, writer as well, from the heart. Communicator of some sort, teacher. I don't know which one appeals to you, but it could be all of them. Okay, does that help?
Yeah. It's pretty much confirms what at some level I kind of know, I think.
Yeah, it should do.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So some resources for you guys. If you want something more in depth, well, actually, any questions before we get to this? Any questions on that?
Was the date of birth, does that come into it significantly?
The date of birth is only relevant so I know your age. Okay.
Right. Okay.
I'm interested in the cycle of life, because we work in 7-year cycles. It doesn't generate the numbers. The numbers come from the letter. Yeah. Janice, you were going to ask a question?
How does marriage, when the woman changes her name, or in other cultures, maybe names change, how does that affect the contract?
I'll show you.
Okay. Or does it affect it? Do you still carry with what you were born with? Is that your main language?
Think of your name here as the cake of your life. How long have you been married?
24 years.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you've had 24 years of Janus Palmer, which is like a layer of icing on the cake, infusing energies across from one adjacent aspect to another. This is not in the book. The current book. This is that'll be a future book when I get around to writing.
This will be coming up, yeah.
It'll be the next book sometime when I get.
I think you've said that before. I've heard you say that before.
Yeah. I got a bit burnt out with the first book promoting it, and spent a lot of time on the road. So,
you need to come to Houston.
Yeah, the cake of your life is affected by the infusion of icing into the cake.
Okay.
All right. So what happens is that this cake of your life. Okay, I mean you guys can play with this in the software, but the book. Well, this current book won't explain how it works in detail, but you can get some idea. This is like this layer of icing helps change this cake in different ways. Either positive, each aspect has a positive, negative, or no effect. For example, this name here, Janus Palmer, this 9 in karma clashes with that 9 here, so that actually makes your disempowerment worse. Okay?
It makes empowerment worse?
It makes the experience of disempowerment worse. It brings out all the negative aspects of disempowerment.
Okay.
Because it's the same number. So you need to probably have your name optimized, Janice. So you don't have it there, which means basically finding probably maybe a middle name.
Yeah. Actually, I probably go by Janice L. Palmer more so than anything.
All right. Well, let's change that name, okay? So
okay.
We'll put that in. Sort that out.
That's because my husband puts that on all of our legal documents, Janice L. Palmer. So he's chosen it.
So phonetically, it's L, like that.
Ah, okay.
Not the letter L, which is a L. You say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
All right. So this is slightly different. So this name here is saying you're here to use spiritual energies to be of service to others.
Okay.
Be a teacher, expander of knowledge.
So that's still there. Okay.
It's still there. And this is about procrastination still here. Project management. But this 9 here is good because that goes into this talent gateway up to this negative 9 here. Positive 9 becomes a negative 9 to help you come into your power.
Okay.
This is about grounding in society. Yeah. 8's about grounding. It's about taking care of others. This is the reason you're a nursing.
And why now I take care of cats. I rescue cats too. So does that count?
That probably comes from Janus Palmer. It's looking after nature. You want to relate to animals more than people.
I do.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Okay.
That one.
Cool.
So this basically, a married name or a different name you use adds more data, more information to it. But primarily it's designed to help overcome this. What may hinder you, it depends.
Okay. So not that I would, but if a woman has been divorced and remarried more than once, does she do that to add?
Yeah, if you add more names on, you get more layers of icing, so it gets more complex.
Okay.
For some people have multiple marriages because they want different overlays to have different effects on their growth.
Ah, okay. All right.
So it builds up over time. It's a cumulative effect. Does that help?
It does. I was just curious how that that dynamic.
Yeah.
comes into play. Thank you.
That'll be in the next book. How all that works. So
I'll be pre-buying it on Amazon when it comes out.
yeah. So
Nicolas,
Sharon,
I just have one quick question. I would assume that the loss of my father has a definite effect on relationships. For
yes,
me.
it means that you have a program that the man dies, or
Yes, really.
the man leaves. Is that what happens? Is that what happened, Sharon?
Sorry?
The male leaves the relationship.
All the time.
Yeah. So by healing the loss of your own father, okay, then you'll have a much better chance to have a relationship with a man will stay.
Okay. Is it because it's really difficult. I basically now chosen not to be in any relationship with a male. I mean, a close relationship. I mean, I'll talk to male, but I basically chosen not to because I can't handle that. The leaving.
Yeah. Well, I would recommend working. I know it's tough. Work on the abandonment by your dad, and then when you've got enough of that done, then you could think about it, and you've got a much better chance of it actually working. Because major lesson in life for you is to actually overcome that and have a decent relationship with a man who hangs around.
Right.
Okay, that's actually one of the goals here. So the parent we miss the most, or we're separated from, is the one we're here to make peace with, and reconnect to.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a major part of your journey. Then that will allow you to be worthy of being loved, which means your sense are more likely to happen. Okay, which is the biggest. That's your big passion. So looking at your deepest, darkest pain in life for all of us is the key to unlocking life, so it flows a lot better.
Thank you.
Okay, and so it means going to the stuff which our ego would rather avoid, because our egos are very pain averse, but that leads to more suffering, as you all know, and not much progress happening, or slow progress happening.
Right. Very slow.
Yeah, very slow. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Well, I think we have a prize draw, but what I'm going to do, because it's only 5 years, I'm going to split. I'm going to do a slightly shorter reading. I'm going to do one to Sabrina, who had to leave early, and one to Patricia. So they'll look at this video later. So you guys can have about a half hour reading each. So then everyone's had a reading, which I think is fair given there's only 5 of you. So everyone's had a go. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. All right. So some resources here for you guys. So if you want to go into more depth, this takes you, soulcontractreadings.com takes you to the website if you want a much more in-depth reading, where we could talk about, for example, Janice, the effect of all those overlays and what they really do, so you can find out what's actually tripping you up, okay, and how and what it's taught you and how to navigate that. This is the workshop we run using the soul contract reading work to align to your purpose. This is for you, Sharon, especially all of you, but especially you, Sharon. Free up your life with divine healing. That basically talks about how to use the higher self, divine healing, in a session to actually dismantle the ego and to dismantle a lot of the abandonment in your case, so that you can actually have the life you desire. Okay? Have the life you desire. And this one here, the divinehealingtraining.com, is to learn how to actually do divine healing on yourself. So then you can clear 80% of your issues yourself. And that the cost of that is about 3 of those sessions. So that means you can clear forever 80% of the stuff that comes up. So it's much more cost effective if you're serious about getting on with your life. That's what that's for. So all the stuff we talked about for all of you in the soul contract, you can actually clear it with that. And about 80% of the time, and 20% of the time, you need a bit of help from someone like me who can hold the space for you, emotional space. You can go to really deep stuff. Okay, so if you're wanting to move on with life, this is the one to think about. If you seriously want to get your life to go where you want to go, because you've got this map here with a soul contract, but this is what clears all the roadblocks on the map. This one here. And if you're interested in learning how to deliver soul contract readings, this is one here, soulcontractreading.com is the training we have. It's a 5-day training where you can actually learn how to do it. And then you can earn a living from that as well. Very good living from that. And the book overall is covering just birth charts, which is a lot. Shows you actually how to generate them by hand, but the quicker way is Soul Contract. Actually, I'll type it here. It's your text here. Here's my text. Way of doing text on this thing. No, Soul Contract Reader.com is the website if you want to play with the software, and you get, I think it's 4 free names, so you can play with it. And there's a small page you go charge if you want to play with names, understand your friends, you know, and family, and then you can actually work with them a lot more easily. And if you've got the book, sounds like most of you have, then you can actually figure them out. And the rest of the book explains what it all means, what all the numbers mean, how to put a chart together and interpret it. So a longer way of doing it than I've shown you tonight. Okay. So I hope that's helped people. That's given you some clarity. How was that?
A big shift.
Yeah.
For me. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Felicia, how's that?
Yeah, you've disappeared off the screen. Is that how it's been for everybody else? You just suddenly gone, and I've gone back to at the top of my screen. Oh, you're here now. Okay, it was my cursor. I'm high.
It takes a little while to come back. So,
okay.
So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll send you guys the video later. Bringing truth to our lives, cutting out all the illusion of the ego, means we can actually get on with it. So wherever you are, I know you're like in a lot of pain, Sharon, you can actually break through that. It's what this work is designed to take us from wherever we are to wherever we want to go. If you follow what your contract's about and look at the recommendations in the book and work through the issues and, try some divine healing or whatever other healing you may have access to specifically in a focused manner on the issues, then you can actually transmute everything in that chart eventually. It just takes time and persistence. But what else would you want to do? Do you still want to do it the hard way? Or do you want to find the easy way? And this is the most efficient way of awakening that I know of, which is why we do this work, of getting the goodies, getting what you really want in life, making those dreams happen. And making that seem to happen, Sharon. It's possible.
I believe that.
It is possible, but you've got to put dedicated, focused work on and follow the map, because you all know how true this is. When you follow that map, life happens. And for most people on Earth, it doesn't happen because they don't have the map and they don't have the tools to break them through, which is why Spirit brought this technology through. And you wouldn't be here if you weren't ready to hear it. You see? That's the way it works. All right, so any final comments, guys, before we finish?
Just thank you so much for all you do.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you. Keep doing what you do.
I will. I've got a new show on Gaia coming out sometime in June or July.
Awesome.
Just did the first one. It's actually about...
My favorite episodes are when you're on there.
Yeah, it's about how you use this work to actually help you in business. Okay, how to use it to attract the right sort of business. So
I got to get my future son-in-law to watch then.
Yeah. So thank you for total engagement and being prepared to bear your lives and share your pain. I mean, this is what life is about. It's about helping each other and sharing, and then being witnessed, and that it helps us move forward, because you don't have to do it by yourself.
Very validating.
Yeah, you don't have to do it by yourself.
For sure.
All righty. So thank you. And we'll send you the video and some of the other links I talked about later.
Thank you.
Janice and Sharon. See you. Best of luck.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay. See you.